Hello there, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast. This forecast is for the week of January 6th through the 12th. I've decided to switch up the format a little bit and experiment with that, especially since I've been doing dailies so often lately. So I thought it might be a good thing to go ahead and do a change. As I'm shuffling and laying down your cards, let me remind everybody I do offer private readings. Those readings are done either via phone or Skype, your choice, whichever works better for you. And the best way to schedule one of those is just to get a hold of me with the contact information listed on the website at the bottom of this screen. La da da da. Okay. Sagittarius. The first thing that I'm looking at for you has to do with your environment, and your environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. Normally, it's home, but sometimes people tell me it's work or school as well. There's been something going on in your environment, Sagittarius, that has made you feel trapped or locked in, or like you just didn't really like you had to have your armor up all the time, like you had to always be ready for some kind of battle or argument or fight. And it looks to me like either you've gotten yourself out of that particular environment this week, or you have something in the environment has changed where you're not feeling like you have to be constantly on standby and constantly ready to go to battle. Okay? Now the next thing that we have coming up is looking at your subconscious leanings, and these are kind of the background programs of our mind. And so it looks like there is some kind of situation that you're seeing is making you feel depleted and is holding you back, and you really want to move away from this situation. You want to leave this situation behind, and your subconscious is working on, how can I do that? How can I leave this situation behind? It's interesting that you have this card in this particular position, Sagittarius, because it's the same exact card as, I think it was Cancer. I'm not sure. Not exactly sure. I think it's interesting that we've got, a sixth of the people coming up as primarily, this is their subconscious leanings. Now, of course, this isn't going to be true for every single Sagittarius, but a sixth of the people who watch my videos, let's put it that way, most of them. So anyhow, subconscious leanings is looking for, how can I get away from this situation that's making me feel depleted in some kind of clean way, without a lot of drama, without a lot of fuss, without a lot of mess of any kind, financial mess or any other kind of mess. All right, so Sagittarius, next thing I'm looking at is learning style and also communication style. I think your learning style right now is really, you're thinking some things over. I don't know that you're necessarily drawing in any kind of new information as much as you're thinking over the things that you know and sort of putting two and two together. Okay, you may even be doing a little bit of overthinking to where you're kind of seeing things sideways. When I look at your communication style, I really think that you're being very protective about your communication style. Like, you really don't want other people approaching you and asking you about specific things, and you may be putting your guard up around that. But I don't think, or other things I don't think you mind communicating on, and you're very direct and to the point. Nobody really wonders stand on those things that you are communicating on. Now, next thing I'm looking at is work. So we're going to look at work, like how you make a living, and then we're also going to look at inner work. So when I look at work for how you make a living, you may not be doing any kind of work right now at all, or you may be working in an industry that literally has to do with death. You may be somehow affiliated with hospice work. You may be affiliated with cemeteries. You may be affiliated with anything that would have to do with the potential for death, even a paramedic. I mean, obviously that's not the goal, but, any kind of medical even. All right? Inner work is really, you're transforming, you're making some kind of transformation in yourself, in your perspective, and how you handle dealing with people and the world at large. And it seems to me like you're feeling like you have a deadline. You feel like you have a certain amount of time to make this change before you have some negative repercussions if you don't. Some of you may be dealing with, learning how to handle your anger. You may be taking anger management courses, or you may be trying to learn how to deal with your anger on your own. You may be doing meditation. But there's definitely this whole idea of that there's a timeline, that things have to be done by a certain time that shows up here. Now, next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about that part of you that's being grown or expanded right now, Sagittarius. And as we go through the week, what we see is that you are giving gifts. Whenever this comes up, it's not just one gift. There are multiple gifts that you're giving through the week, Sagittarius. Okay? The next thing that we have coming up is those things that you stand for. It looks like you're paying somebody back or paying something off. And you are standing up for this. Somebody may be saying to you, well, why would you pay somebody back in this situation? You don't really have to do that. And you're saying whatever it is that you're saying to stand up for that, integrity, values. How other people perceive you, they see you as somebody who has had a payday. Maybe that's what they think when you pay somebody off. Well, they've just got a lot of money. Sometimes how people react to us is kind of comical, I think. Anyway, moving on. Once we get more towards the end of the week, oh, somebody else got this card too. I don't think it was Cancer though. Maybe it was. I don't remember. Anyway, once we get more towards the end of the week, there is something happens that's pivotal, that sort of changes the direction of things. And what that is you're cutting somebody out. You're cutting somebody out. I don't know if this is a business partner, if this is a romantic partner, if this is a friend, but you are cutting somebody out of your life. I'm literally hearing somebody say, and excuse my, somebody say, I am sick of their shit. And I mean, this is like, they're saying it very heartfelt, whoever I'm hearing. Somebody that you're cutting out. This may be somebody who is a significant other. You feel like there is a sense of letdown here, that that maybe you guys made some promises to each other at some point and you just weren't able to keep them. Maybe you weren't able to keep them because they weren't able to keep them and it drove you over the edge. Or maybe you just weren't able to keep them. Maybe you didn't realize what you were promising when you got into this. But there is a feeling of letdown, a feeling of failure, a feeling of guilt that comes in whenever you cut this person out. I think part of your sense of failure is that you did not say what you needed to say to this person before. So part of the failure that you're looking at is that you didn't communicate with this person before that things were not going well and that there were things that needed to be fixed. And I think you cut out somebody who was very logical, who didn't show emotions very much. Excuse me, I still have a little bit of a frog in my throat. Who didn't show emotions very much, who just tried to make everything all about the bottom line, and was very goal-oriented all the time. And you cut this person out, and I think that you replaced this person, whether it's a business partner or a significant other or whatever, or a friend, whatever, you replace this person with somebody who's much more outgoing, much more fun. They're not as responsible. It's not to say they aren't responsible, but they're not as responsible. They're much more impulsive than the person that you're cutting out. And so you're letting this other person, you're actually putting this other person in the person that you cut out's place. Okay? So that's what I've got for you, Sagittarius. I hope that makes sense to you. If you found this reading helpful, please give it a thumbs up and also share it so that it can be helpful to other people as well. That does help me to grow the channel, and I very much appreciate that. Those of you who would like me to look into this more deeply for you, then feel free to schedule a private reading with me. I would love to be your reader. And for the rest of you, I'll see you back here on the next video. Peace out, everybody.